Today I'm sharing with you 6 reasons why I think Stu Macher could have survived his injuries in the first Scream movie. I'm Pamela, welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, I am a Stu believer. There is a well-known theory out there that Stu Macher is still alive. I have talked about it a ton on my channel before, so I will link my past Stu Macher videos down in the description if you want to check them out. And I will also link my full Stu Macher playlist at the end of this video. Let's get into it. So I have done a video in the past called 50 Stu Clues, 50 different clues that point towards Stu Macher still being alive. But we're not going to talk about all the different clues today. We're just going to be talking about 6 different reasons why it's possible that Stu could have survived the injuries that he sustained. And first up, Stu was only stabbed 4 times, and one of those 4 stabs was only in his arm. In this scene, 2 of the 4 stabs were done off screen. We can hear Billy stab him, and then when it cuts to Stu, he's looking at his arm.
He's sick, for fuck's sake. You've seen one too many movies.
Nah, Sid! Don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create psychos! Movies.
So one of the 4 stabs was not in any vital organs. This is something that we see later on in the franchise as well. In Scream 6, during the apartment attack scene, Mindy gets slashed in her arm, and obviously she's fine. And in the final act of Scream 6, Sam also gets a slash in her arm, and she's fine as well. And not to mention, Tara gets shot in the arm in Scream 6's final act, and just walks it right off. Let's also not forget that Mindy survives a really bad stab to the stomach, and at the end she's running around like it's nothing, and in the final act, Tara also gets a stab in her backside and is walking around like it's nothing. So one of the 4 stabs was not that bad, and 4 stabs in general is nothing, according to this franchise. Other characters have survived far worse. Let's take Chad for example. In Scream 5, he was stabbed I think like 10 times and survived. And in Scream 6, he was stabbed probably over 20 times and he survived. So Chad has survived a total of about 30 stabs. Stu only had 4. Chad has gotten stabbed like 5 times more than Stu. And in Scream 5, Amber was shot, I believe, 3 times and literally set on fire. And that still wasn't enough to kill her. It wasn't until Tara shot her in the head. So my point being, many other characters have survived far worse than what Stu went through. The second reason I think he could have survived, he braced himself. If you notice, before the TV fell on Stu's head, he held his hands up. This very well could have helped soften the blow of the TV. You know, when you're like walking down the street and you trip, before you fall to the ground, you instinctively put your hands out to help protect your face and to soften the blow. So the full weight of that TV didn't just land on his head. His hands helped to protect himself. Which brings me to reason number 3. I don't think the TV weighed all that much, because look at the scene in Scream 6 when Kirby throws the TV at Ethan. Look at the distance that the TV flew. Kirby is a petite girl. She's probably not super strong, and she was able to throw that TV a pretty good distance. It's not like the TV weighs 1,000 pounds. So I don't believe that the TV would completely crush Stu's head the way a lot of people think it did. Which also brings me to reason number 4. In that same scene in Scream 6, right before Kirby throws the TV at Ethan, we can see that the inside of the TV is hollow, which to me means the TV did not crush his head, but rather his head went through it. So sure, the glass sliced up his face, but it did not crush or flatten his head like a lot of people think it did. His head went through it. Reason number 5, I think Stu could have survived his injuries. So we see him get electrocuted by the TV. And a lot of people will argue that his head was getting electrocuted, his brain, and there's no way he could survive that. But we have to remember in Scream 4, Jill gets her brain fried. Sydney hits her with the defibrillator straight to the head and gets her brain fried. But that was not enough to kill her. Jill still gets up after that. Sydney had to shoot Jill to kill her. So if Jill could get electrocuted in the brain and still get up after that, so could Stu. And the sixth and final reason I think Stu could have survived his injuries is because the last time we see him after the TV falls on him, he is still breathing. I did talk about this in a recent video. Back in 2012, someone tweeted at Wes Craven, "Do you think Kirby is really dead?" And Wes's response was, "I don't think so. She was still moving before we cut away from her." And like I said, you can see Stu still moving right before they cut away from him. So according to Wes Craven's rule about character deaths, Stu could still be alive. There you have it. Those are 6 different reasons why I think it's very possible that Stu Macher could have survived his injuries from the first Scream movie. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about all of this. Like I said, many other characters have survived far worse. Please don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future posts or future Scream theories like this one. You can also follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, and I'll be right back.